For example, corner kicks, you can stay in this immersive camera, but maybe in deep free kicks, you want to stay in gameplay camera. It allows you to do that. So let's move on to the last one, which is the goal kick. Now the goal kick also has undergone some changes. It looks a lot more like our console big brother, more immersive. You see more of the stadium as well, the architecture, and it's really easy. You don't really have to pan the camera. You easily pick your pass wherever you want to, and puts a bit more focus as well on the goalkeeper, a bit closer into him. So yeah, these are awesome new cameras that help bring immersion to gameplay.
Yeah, those are all very refreshing changes, I think, to the way that matches are played, head-to-head is played. I think it just makes it more, there's more options for players to choose different camera angles. And then I just know personally scoring a free kick is a lot more fun. And I noticed in the chat, some people are bringing up as penalties. If you played the beta, you notice penalties are not guaranteed. And I think that's a welcome change for a lot of people. So in the chat, let me know if you missed any penalties in the beta or how good you were at penalties. Because I know I missed a few. I swiped my first few ones way over the net, and it took me a little bit of adjusting, but once you get the hang of it, Timo, right, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and just like in real life, let's say you're attempting to shoot top corner. Like you're attempting it. You're stepping up to the plate, and you're like, I'm going to do it. You're probably, maybe you're going to miss. I'm not sure how good you are, but it's a high risk. You're trying to put it in the top corner. But if you shoot it low in the center, high chance of scoring. And that's what you wanted to represent. You're taking a risk. Of course, the higher the attribute of a player, the more chance you have to keep it on target, but it's not guaranteed. So a lot of things like how fast you swipe, where you swipe, your player, all these things factor in. But isn't it a great feeling when you actually score a penalty, or maybe, oh, I think I swiped too fast, but it still goes and you're like, oh my God, yes, satisfying. Like it's just that moment that we wanted. And it's just like that in real life, taking a penalty shot, that pressure, that, you know, and then that satisfaction of actually scoring. And also, I'm sure many people saw it. And if you haven't played the beta, one cool little thing is we added the move goalkeeper function in. So yes. So we know that skill moves are fun. We get it. But at the same time, as you saw throughout the show, we're putting a lot more emphasis on user skill, separating, you know, the best players at the top. And skill moves are fun. So what we did is some balancing. So first of all, we adjusted the skill move speed based on a dynamic game speed. So they're kind of in line of the whole game speed itself. And the main change I would say that we did is to balance consecutive skill moves. So if you do your first skill move, it's still going to be quite effective, of course, based on attributes such as agility, ball control, right? But if you're attempting multiple skill moves in a row, like chaining them basically, one after the other, that will be not as effective anymore. So we made an emphasis to discourage users from doing that. You can do one skill move, but we also wanted to diversify the build-up play. Different ways to score. Use more passing, use the knock-on, use different ways, right? So use your regular dribble. So yeah, skill moves are still effective in some regard. We feel like it's well balanced. We did a lot of testing internally, externally, in the beta, got the feedback. Of course, guys, you do like a 90-degree cross inside the box, not going to be that accurate. So you see this with like the accuracy won't be as good, or the height will be lower, like you kind of not be as accurate basically in crossing. So again, we encourage you, put your play in a good position to cross, it will be more accurate. And as I mentioned before, with the elite shooting, the headers also undergo that. So headers are not super fast anymore, and the attribute plays a bigger role, and your player positioning. So we feel it's quite balanced. Again, we want to hear your feedback. It's very important to us, but we feel it's significantly improved compared to the live game.
That's great to hear. I know as well, seeing in the comments, a lot of people are bringing up goalkeeper performance in the new season. If you had some notes on that, you could share, because that seems to be a pretty common topic here. Just going through chat, people want to know what are goalies up to.
Absolutely. So first of all, we completely rebalanced the keeper in regards to elite shooting. So goalkeepers play a very important role now, of course, but also for crosses. So we had cases where a cross would come in really close to the keeper. He would just stand there waiting, and we've improved the situation significantly. So keepers will be more active trying to intercept air balls like crosses and those things, and go for it to intercept it.
That's great. And that would also apply to corner kicks, with a goalie coming out on a corner, being able to come in and maybe punch the ball, grab the ball. I know people have been mentioning that, so that's great to hear.
Absolutely. Yes. We want to make sure that's kind of part of the whole crossing balancing. So it's the cross, it's the headers, it's the defensive side of things, how you can affect the player, as I showed earlier before with the 2-player header error, and the goalkeeper as well, just to be more active, get off the line and go for those very obvious balls that are really close to him. We still have to make sure, though, the keeper is not too aggressive, because if he goes out and rushes and he can't get the ball, that's not something you want to do. So he's more aggressive, but within line, I would say.
Makes sense. And I'm seeing a few people as well just in chat. We do have a bit of time for some questions. Are asking about the height of a goalie. That one seemed to have been coming up a bit here. Timo, if you have some info on what that looks like.
Yeah, the height of a keeper can play a role, but generally speaking, that's not a factor that we want to really, make. Like, for example, take a player like Casillas, right? He's not the tallest player. Like if you compare Casillas to Courtois, for example, right? But because he is one of the best keepers ever, and that's also reflected in FCMobile. So height can, in certain ways, in certain situations, maybe help you, but generally the smaller keepers are more agile and faster, right, to get off. But height is not as influential as people may think.
That makes sense. I know that Campos, I think, is one of the shorter goalkeepers in the game. I want to say he's 5'8", 5'9". Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. So that'll be interesting to test him out whenever he comes out in the new season. We do have some room here as well, chat, for a couple questions for Timo directly from the chat. Obviously, things that we can answer and speak to. So if you have anything that you want to ask the gameplay producer, the guy on the show here, drop it into chat. I'm also looking through Discord at the same time here. Because I'm
sorry if I went too fast. I tend to speak too fast. So if there was something I mentioned through the show and people like, what was he talking about? I can reiterate. I would gladly do that. And again, I just want to say I'm really proud of our team. We pushed really, really hard this year, and just excited to bring it to you guys. So I'm sure the first couple of months we'll go through maybe some balancing, some bug fixes still. And by the way, we've done tons of bug fixes as well, like legacy issues. And one thing I want to mention here is we really improved switching. I know there was some issues, like with the loose ball switch. So let's say you take a shot, right, and we should switch you to a teammate who's closer to the ball. We've improved that. Airball switching, like which player will be selected in those situations. So we've done tons and tons of improvements, as well as the attacking state, you know, like you're on the wrong state. You want to be on defensive state, but you're still in attacking state. So we've done tons of improvements. Switching is complex though. It's hard to say for me, you know, we fixed it. I think we improved it really well. If you find any cases where there's bad switching, send it our way, post it somewhere, Discord, Reddit, we'll see it.
Yeah, I know just over the past couple of years, the switching's really improved from like making it feel a lot more responsive. And I know when I play head to head, I'm kind of switching by tapping on a lot of players as well. And I really like how quickly it responds to my tap in the direction. So you can kind of switch off ball and have a second player come in to pressure while you're keeping tabs on another attacker. So I know guys who are playing at the highest level, that's an important part of their defending skills. So looking through chat as well, I'm seeing a lot of questions here, chat, about the market, player stats. Those are all things that aren't exactly gameplay related, so can't really delve into those yet. But I'll leave a little bit more time at the end of the show here if you have like non-gameplay questions. But yeah, otherwise just seeing a lot of like regular like game related questions. I think there was one here. Let me just check. I'm just going through. There was a decent one here that was coming up. Someone is asking about corners. We did mention that. Around.
Also want to say that corner kicks are not 100% accurate. We also added a bit more error based on attribute for corner kick crosses. You will, of course, just in real life, you're trying to cross exactly to that point, but there's a bit of variance based on attribute as well.
That's great to hear. So it really matters who you have selected as your corner kick taker.
Yes,
you can't put anyone there, and you want to be using the Trent Alexander-Arnolds of the world, the De Bruynes, the guys who can really whip it in.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to mention is in terms of cameras, we talked about scoring amazing goals with like power shots or just satisfying goals with any shot type. We also significantly improved our replay cameras. You probably noticed that a little bit throughout the beta, and we've done more polishing and tuning on that. So you'll see it throughout the game, but I do encourage you, if you play head-to-head and you score some nice goals, go into those post-match replays, and there's going to be like a nice 3-camera kind of reel of that goal, and there's going to be some nice effects and just cool angles. So check it out, and hopefully you'll share it on social media, in the forums. I think it's going to be, again, adding to that satisfying moment of scoring goals. You'll see it's going to be pretty special.
Agreed. And I see one as well that I think was mentioned was around the halftime and full-time referees calling the play. I think there's been a little bit of adjustments there to be a little more reflective of where play is headed.
Yes, so that's something we'll continue to improve. We already made improvements. We will continue to do that post-launch, but we have improved the end-of-half logic to blow the whistle at a more reasonable situation. But we'll continue to improve it.
That's great, yeah. And I saw a few people here as well. That kind of ties into our last little bit of the segment, which is celebrations, right, Timo? Everybody loves celebrations. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we want to stay up to date and stay with the trends. So we've added tons of new star-specific animations. Now, I don't want to share exactly who and how many, but we added quite a few. And I will say that Haaland not just has one, but multiple celebrations. So you'll see him throughout the year having some new celebrations, and very excited.
That's exciting. I know that it's always fun when you see a celebration pop up that you haven't seen before. I know there's some guys who could use some refresh celebrations, so I'm sure community will appreciate it, and it'll be kind of fun when they pop up in game. So
yes, and listen, we're going to continue to push. We're going to continue to push with content in terms of celebrations, hopefully new skill moves throughout the season. So these are things we feel very passionate about, just like you guys. And I can tell you, FCMobile is a big step for us. Like, we're taking the gameplay really to a next level, building on a strong foundation, but we're just getting started. Like, we're putting a lot more into this franchise. And again, I've been doing this for 10 years, guys. 10 years, but never been more excited. And where the game is right now, just generally as a product, in the gameplay, it's so exciting. So the future looks very bright.
That's Brad. That's a great way to kind of put a bow on it there, Timo. Very, very exciting, at least for the new season and what's to come. I know we're all going to be waiting to see what you and your team are sharing with the players. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Timo. It was great. So much valuable info, and very much appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you again. It's been a real pleasure. I know I've been here before, like with just a pre-recorded video or something. I know I've been talking to some of the people on Discord before. Again, really, thank you all for the support and feedback. We're building this together. And again, I hope you feel a lot of your feedback has been reflected in the features of FCMobile. And also, there's going to be a deep dive coming out with some more details. And we have more cool stuff to come throughout the year. I have to kind of bite my lip here, not to spoil anything, but yeah, exciting times. Thank you so much, everyone. Please enjoy this launch next week. Let us know your thoughts, and see you next time.
Great. Thanks, Timo. Take care. So that was Timo going through gameplay. What do we think, chat? A lot to digest there. As mentioned, there will be a deep dive coming out shortly with more information on everything we went through, as well as even some extra details we weren't able to cover. Overall, though, it's a lot coming to gameplay. It's going to feel very different, I think, on day one. So I'm looking forward to it. If you played the beta, you kind of have an expectation of how it's going to feel and some of the new controls. So overall, dubs in the chat, I agree. It's very good to see. So we're kind of getting close to that time of the show where chat tries to guess what is the giveaway keyword. So if you guys want to take a little shot here at the keyword before I unveil, we're going to be doing a choice of 2 Pioneer players. So you can choose between the 120 Haaland or the 120 Bellingham from the Founders event. We'll make sure to grant those in time for the new season rollover. So you will have them in FCMobile as well at obviously a reduced OVR. So let's see if I see anyone with the right keyword here. It's related to gameplay. Let's see if you can guess it. Seen a couple ones, nothing really close. Think of one of the impact controls. Oh, someone got it. It's hashtag power shot is what we're going with for the keyword. So drop that in the chat if you want to be entered into our giveaway. We're going to be doing 5 giveaways. So 5 winners here will get their choice of Bellingham or Haaland, 120 OVR, untradeable Pioneer players that will carry over into the new season. So quite a valuable player item there. And I know a lot of you will be trying to get that. So hashtag power shot. And while we wait for our first winner, I just wanted to go over some extra details here for the new season. With a couple people who are in different parts of the world, so gonna maybe see about rekindling that league. And I know a lot of you maybe already started sending out some feelers on trying to get some old leagues back together. I'm also excited for the way this is going to look for hosting some community head-to-head tournaments. That was always kind of a little bit of a tricky part, is having it region by region, but now you can play against anyone, so that'll be fun. Also looking to do a stream sometime next week, more details to come for a launch stream. We'll go over some of the new content. We'll go over just the new game, explain a little bit of how training works, some of the new features there, rank ups, show off the market, which is pretty similar to the current market, just a few little changes. So yeah, got an exciting show next week. We do have our first winner though, before I get too carried away with talking about the new season. It's Daniel68 is our winner. So congrats, you get your choice of Bellingham or Holland. Again, it's hashtag PowerShot if you want to be entered. I see a lot of you dropping it in there. By the way, follow us on Twitch so that if you do win, you're able to contact us, or we can contact you via Whisper so you can get your information to transfer over this player before the new season starts. So make sure you drop a follow on our Twitch account right now if you aren't already doing so. We have our second winner coming up. I think this one's easy. It should be Jorginho96. So Jorginho96, you are the second winner. I haven't heard a lot from the actual Jorginho recently. I feel like what was it, a few years ago? He was like third in Ballon d'Or voting, wasn't it? After the Euros. And then after that, I think he moved on from Chelsea. But anywho, that's our second winner, Jorginho himself. So yeah, maybe you're playing at Arsenal right now. So yeah, hashtag PowerShot. Also, if you've already put in your hashtag for PowerShot, but you just have questions on the season, whether it's the rest of the season, the new season, I'll try my best to answer whatever's dropped in chat. Obviously, there's a lot of things I won't be able to answer just because we're holding that for launch, or we have a deep dive coming out soon, or it's just very specific info that I just don't have an answer for. So seeing one come in here, will the dynamic game speed gameplay adjustments stay for when stats get to a higher base? That's a good question. I think that's going to be the aim of the gameplay team, to make sure that these changes don't all of a sudden get overpowered when stats start getting higher and higher. Because that's something I feel like we can see in other seasons is once the stats start climbing, some of these balances and adjustments maybe aren't as powerful as they once were. So I know that's been third of 5 Pioneer giveaway players. So it's your choice of Bellingham or Holland. If you need a center mid to carry over at 120, pick Bellingham. If you need a striker, Holland at 120. Let's see. Will the bots in the market be back? No, I can confirm that the market will be similar to what we have right now. So it will not be the market from a few seasons ago. News on head-to-head disconnects. At the moment, it's going to be similar to what we currently have, so there's not going to be any changes there. However, that's been a topic I think that's come up with the gameplay team. I could have brought it up actually with Timo, but they've been chatting about how to approach that in the future, just because it's been brought up by the community about if someone quits in head-to-head or disconnects, how should that affect in a competitive head-to-head match? So I'm just going to say that like they're having conversations about what that might look like. It's still very early though. We do have our fourth winner here. Let's pull it up on screen, and that is Young Supreme with a V. So fourth winner there. I'm going to pull up chat. If we have any other questions about the season, are Pioneer players tradable in the new season? No, they are not. So if you have a Pioneer player that transfers over from the current season to the new season, you can't sell them on the market. Is the first event a new one or an event that was in past seasons? It's a very good question. I don't want to shed too much light on that one, but it's a new event. It's like the season opening event. That's all I'll say. Don't want to take too much hype away from the start of the season, you know, but no, there's some good looking players in there. We'll have some player banners to share and some more information. Let's see. Do we have another question here? We actually have our fifth and final winner. So let's pull that up on screen. It is Leo Ziller. Leo Ziller, you are our fifth and final winner of our Pioneer player giveaway, untradeable Pioneer player giveaway, both in the current season and when it carries over to the new season. Let's see. Any other questions here? Did I pick up some leaks from the grocery store? I'm running a little bit low. I think I might need to do a little trip before the new season. Are there going to be women in the new season? No, currently there's no plans right now to have women in the new season of FCMobile. However, it's definitely being brought up. Let's see. Any other questions that I can get through here? How many Pioneers do I have on my team? I think I got four Pioneers. The best one I got a Skriniar out of the Founders Exchange. I was very happy since I was needing a new center back, and he actually does quite well. So got him, and then obviously got Mukoko, Enzo. I feel like I'm blanking on another one. So I'm only at 4. Let's see. What about, got any final questions, guys? We don't usually have a lot of time for a Q&A here, especially with new season come along, but drop some in if you have some, and I'll see if I can get to as many as possible. Ask about, so looking right here, will store prices remain different based on region? I'll have to double check on that one, but given that the market is global, those should stay. Oh, you're talking about store, like in-store, like packs. Oh, that's a good question. Don't have details on that, actually. That's something we can follow up with or see if we can share info on that. But at the moment, I do not have an answer. Chemistry system in the new season. More information on that to be coming in the training deep dive, which Jason is working on. Well, we're all working on it. Jason, though, seems to be putting that together. So we'll have that out for you guys as soon as we can with information around chemistry and how to rank up and train your players. And then I'm seeing a few questions about Pioneer players transferring over. So Pioneer players will transfer it over as long as you don't consume them in like other players' trainings or in like exchanges, or if you just accidentally discard them on the market, or discard them from your player inventory. But you can train your Pioneer players. You could bring your 114 Mukoko up to a 119, and it's fine. So it's just, if you want to keep your Pioneer players carried over to FCMobile to the new season, just don't have them consumed into another player or discarded. Otherwise, they won't transfer over. And the other one as well is that duplicate Pioneer players will not carry over. Only one version will carry over. So if you have 3 Mukokos, 114 Mukokos, only one of those will show up in FCMobile. So my recommendation would be, if you have duplicates, use them in the club points exchanges or use them anywhere else you see fit, because only one will carry over. Let's see, a last question here. I got time for one more question, and then after that we are going to be rating Wolvie, but Our lane changes still OP. Timo kind of spoke to that. They're working on making sure that consecutive skill moves are not overpowered. So I expect a skill move by itself to still have some value based on obviously attributes such as agility and ball control and all the attributes that come into play there. But if you're chaining back to back to back lane changes, then no, it will not be as effective. And if you played the beta, you kind of got to look at what really the meta is for getting into space and how to create goals. And it's a lot of build-up play, a lot of passing. Obviously, pace still matters, but it's not as impactful as I feel like it has been in the current season. Also, we have some cool news to share right now. I'm going to drop the deep dive in the chat right now. It actually just went live, the gameplay deep dive. So if you want to get a recap on what we went over with Timo today, we just have it went live right now. So we'll drop it in the chat. Thank you, FCMobile Jason. If you want to check that out, it's live right now. We also will be posting the VOD of this live stream on YouTube. So check it out there in a little bit if you want to rewatch any part you may have missed. But overall, it's been a jam-packed show. It's been really cool to see all the new gameplay features and obviously celebrate the return of one global region. And with that, we're 1 week away from launch. Hopefully we'll have a stream next week to go through the new game with you guys. Overall, though, it's been a good stream. Really excited. Happy you guys are here supporting in chat. It was great answering some of your questions. If you have more, feel free to go into Discord, onto Reddit. We see a lot of those and we'll try to help where possible. Overall, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm going to sign off right now. Have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. And I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.